This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
Eavesdroppin.
Hello, Michelle.
Geordie, hi.
I hope you had a lovely Christmas.
Oh, jingle bell, 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 ho, 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 all the way. It was wonderful.
All the way home.
All the way home. No, it was great. How are you? How was yours?
It was great, thank you. We are now doing our next episode, which is the bit between Christmas and New Year. And it's very exciting, isn't it, Michelle?
It is, indeed. I know that I mentioned.
You made a big fuss.
I did make a little fuss, not a big fuss, a little fuss.
You made an enormous fuss, so we have to live up to it.
Well, we should have a big fuss because this is actually an Eavesdroppin first. We've never done this before. We have something so exciting coming up. I can't even believe it. So
she's wet her panties with excitement, except it was dulled slightly.
Oh my God.
It was dulled slightly by the fact that we had some technical issues. So fingers crossed this is going to be pulled off today.
I don't think you should put wet panties and pulled off in the same sentence. However, moving on from that.
Oh, wait, 1 second. I've got something on my mind I need to say. Have you seen, Michelle, the latest middle-aged version of Sex and the City? It's called And Just Like That. It is ridiculous.
I have actively avoided it. A, because I was never a fan of the show right back in the day.
I loved it.
I was never into it. And B, just can't be asked. But you actually watched it, did you?
I actually watched it. I'm so reminded of the fact that Carrie Bradshaw is now a podcaster on a very hip, woke show hosted by a trans person. And it's all about sex and masturbation. And she feels uncomfortable talking about that kind of stuff. And it's so lame, Michelle.
Oh my
and
God.
I suddenly felt like we were on that for a moment.
No, because we are not woke. So we're okay. We're okay. But, oh God.
We're also cringe, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. We had a comment on the YouTube. We got trolled. I love it when we get trolled because it makes me realize that people are actually, out there.
They're paying attention.
They are paying attention.
I don't know if being said cringe to is actually being trolled. That's something my 11-year-old daughter says.
Well, who knows how old.
It's like, oh, cringe, Mum.
Cringe. Well, do you know
cringe.
what? It was on our anniversary video, actually.
Middle-aged women dancing. What's wrong with that? If that's not cringe, well, I don't know what is.
And it was pictures of us looking good. So I can't even remember the YouTube username. But anyway, I did reply saying, oh, sorry you didn't like our vid. Hope you've been eavesdropping.
I thought it was the one of us dancing to the theme tune, the outro.
No, it was just pictures of us.
Because that's kind of cringe.
Yeah, but anytime we dance, it's a little bit cringe. But hey ho, it is what it is. I was actually thinking, I listened back to our UFO episode. I'm cringe in that because I'm like, oh, wow, oh my God. Apparently. And it really sounds like I'm a naive UFO believer. It really sounds like, ooh. And I was thinking, okay, it sounds like I have no objectivity or, I'm just naively going, wow, it's a UFO. But you know what? I do kind of believe. I believe. So,
I believe.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, it's an interesting story. Like I said on that episode, the incident Fort Benning is just wild. And Rendlesham is also very interesting.
Yeah, I know.
To say the least.
I know. And there's so much.
As with all of your lights in the skies that you talked about as well. But we digress.
Oh, we do digress. We digress because, like I said, we have an eavesdropping first. It's super exciting. And you can hear a little giggle there because we have with us live
a guest.
Coming at you, a guest. And we've never done this before. So she's a regular.
Yes, regular contributor. She's an eavesdropping contributor.
She's even got her own jingle. Who is it, Geordie?
It's Tameera the Modern Mystic. Yay! Tameera Modern Mystic. Ooh, she's intuitive, mystic, and she reaches the numbers too. She's mystic. Oh. Welcome, Tameera.
Welcome, Tameera. We're so happy to have you here.
Hello, ladies.
It's so great to be here.
So, Tameera, you are here today not just because you are one of our top contributors. You send us great ideas for stories. You have also given us a fantastic, was it an insect reading?
Yes.
Because we both were infested at one point.
Yeah.
It was your spirit animal reading. Yeah.
That was wild. And so accurate as well, wasn't it, Michelle?
Yeah, it was, with my ants, my killer ant colony.
You had the ants
I
and
had
you
the
had the
moths.
moths in your
in the
and the
pantry.
message just keeps showing up.
Yeah, they're gone now, thank God. There's some carcasses still, but they're mostly gone. And also, Tameera, I have personally had a reading from you as well, which was incredible. So, Tameera, let's just talk a little bit about what you do first.
Well, I work with energy. I work with the universal energy, with numbers, with astrology. And I basically just help guide your life.
And you do names as well, help people choose names for babies.
Names, birth charts, helping you to understand about, I guess, your life direction, but also the collective as a whole and what's going on energetically for us. Yeah.
And I also love that you do workshops, and I really, next time I'm in Sydney, or if you ever come to the UK, I really want to do the life direction.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing them more online, so you'll be able to kind of just like come and connect in. Yeah,
slide into the DMs, as Michelle likes to say.
Or to the MMs, the Modern Mystic.
I love it.
But also, I love on my phone. Tameera was so kind. At the beginning of last year, sent one of the moon calendar things.
Moon Lover's Guide.
Yes, and it's on my phone. So every day I see that there's a moon and what's going to be happening and what the energy is, and it's really awesome.
And if it's a 5/8 day, caution day,
Yeah.
I avoid doing certain things on those days.
you?
Trust me.
And the Mercury
yeah.
retrogrades, the big sort of like stuff happening that impacts us
Yep.
all. Yeah,
And it's interesting because it does resonate.
It does for me, absolutely.
So I wanted to share with you, ladies, and all of you eavesdroppers, I'm just moving right into the present of like 2022 and what we'll sort of like be feeling. But looking back in 2021, you know, when we look at like numerology, we sort of can pick up the energy as a whole, as a collective, and also from a personal perspective on our own charts. But 2021 was basically the year that shook the world, okay? And it showed us that we're always changing. The 2 + 2 + 1, it comes to a 5, and it basically magnifies what makes us feel free. So with the 5 as a collective year in numerology, it has brought through, you know, where is our freedom? And if unbalanced, it can bring through chaos as well. And so 2021 as a whole, it's given us a gift and an insight of the fact that we can never find true happiness from the outside world. And it's really forced us to go within, and there's nothing greater than knowing, you know, who you are as a person, nothing greater than knowing that. So basically the 5 as a whole in numerology, it represents freedom and change, and sometimes, again, the chaos coming through. And with the whole vibration of the year before that, with 2022, sorry, 2000 and I'm getting my years mixed up now, but 2020.
You have to be good at maths in this job.
Yeah, I know, right? You're just like, so that was a master vibration, but that was when, you know, when we went through this massive universal shift, and we all felt it, right? We were all going through this massive experience, and that was when we went through like these really big collective shifts in terms of our freedom, our restrictions, and then 2021 just enhanced that. So when we're moving into 2022, this comes to what's called a 6 in numerology, okay? So it's bringing in the vibration of the 2 and the 6, all the 2s added together. And so this is going to be more heart-centered, okay, 2022. It's going to be connecting us further with our family, with the home. And also the 2 represents partnerships and sound. So similar, going back to 2020, there was more of that sort of, the 2 represents the feminine, okay? So when we look at it from another perspective, we were literally like forced to go with inside, okay? So the sun is like the masculine, it's pushing, it's going external. And the 2 like makes us go within, if that makes sense. So I feel like in 2022, we are going to be experiencing more of our creativity if we're looking at when we started moving into the whole vibration of 2000, right? That was when more people than not have tattoos, right? So it's become, the 1990s, you'd see some people with tattoos, but 2000s, that's sort
of...
It's
a tattoo explosion.
Tattoo explosion. And podcasts, so sound, the whole sound waves, that's going to take on, I feel like, a whole new wave and the whole vibration of 2022.
Right. So more podcasts, as if there's not enough already.
But there's going to be something on that whole sound wave level, okay, in 2022, yeah. And I feel like it's also going to take on some of the energy from 2 years prior as well. So whatever was going on there.
Right, so not more pandemic then. What about that? Is that going to be done with, Tameera?
Could potentially be new strains of the pandemic.
Oh, fuck that.
Also for us to be not going into the fear, because when we're going into our egos, that's when we're going into lower vibration. It's fear. It's going into the mainstream media. So the more we're on that heightened consciousness and going into our heart level, that's when we're sort of like embracing that energy on the positive level of the 2022. And
because they're kind of 2 years that we don't want to ever live again because they were utter shit, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, when we look at the vibration of 2020, that was actually a master vibration, which was also going to a 22-4, which does bring through unprecedented restrictions. And there was also some planetary stuff going on as well. So I was going to share a little bit about that and what's going on as well in terms of what you'll be experiencing, this coming year in 2022. But if you wanted to know, like for your own self, like for your personal life, in terms of, picking up the collective energy, but how, what's going to happen in my personal numerology year. Okay, so if you get the day that you're born, okay, so say that you're born on the 1st and say you're born in June, so add 1 and 6 together and then add the number 6 onto that. So that's adding, do you want to give me a date of birth to have a play with?
12/11/69. It's not my birthday, by the way.
All right, so not the year.
Okay.
So we want to just go with 12. So you add 1 plus 2. And what was the month?
11.
So you add 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1. And if you're in America, you do your dates backwards.
Yeah.
But in Australia and England, we've got our day first. So 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1. And then
6.
The actual 2022. So the 6 onto that.
Okay.
So 1 plus 2 is 3. And then 4, 5. Okay, 5 plus 6 comes to...
I think that's 11.
Am
I right?
2, yeah. So break that down to... Yeah, you got it.
And that equals 2.
So that it comes to a 2, yeah. So basically, if you're adding it up and it comes to a 1, and that goes from your birthday. So say you're born in February, your personal year vibration is going to start from February. If you're born in November, then your personal year vibration for 2022 is going to start in November.
So it starts from the month that you're born.
It does, yeah. But you're also picking up the whole collective energy. As we've experienced this. We're going into this really exciting time.
Oh, thank God you said that, Tameera.
It is exciting, and I've got something quite fun to share about what's also happening, but on the personal level, right? So if you are in a 1 year, this is going to be new beginnings for you. If you are in a 2 year, then it's going to be a double one, because you've got the collective of all the 2s that are happening in the 2022, but 2 as a whole, it's partnerships, okay? We're going to also have more collaborations coming through.
That's us, Michelle.
It is.
Yeah. If you're coming through into a 3 vibration, then you're going to find yourself having more social interactions, more communications coming through as well. It can be quite a busy year. So the 3 is very bouncy. It's like a spring, and there's always lots happening. It's really important to be, if you've got an idea in your mind, to be getting it out in that 3 year. And the 4 year, you can find yourself learning new skills. You might be learning how to make a podcast, for example, or, even teaching others. But the 4 also brings through, it could be renovating your home, building new foundations. The 5 year brings through freedom. It brings through new ways of doing things, but on the other side, it can bring through chaos as well.
We
So
don't want that.
it's important to not make any rash decisions
If you're a
in
five,
a 5
right.
personal year. The 6 year is, again, similar to the 2, where you can have beautiful relationships coming in. You can find yourself renovating your
A lot
home.
of renovations.
Pregnancies are more likely to occur in a 6 year, yeah. So the 6 is literally, if you look at this number 6, it's like pregnant with love. So the 6 is the love, yeah. So it's like the love year. And the 7 is more spirituality. It's finding out more about your purpose, a little bit more solitary. And the 8 year, the 8 is the infinity symbol. So it's heaven balancing on earth, or it can be chasing the tail, but it's the wealth year. So it's reaping what you've sown. And then your 9 vibration, your 9 personal year vibration, this is when you have big transformation coming through. So you can find yourself potentially moving countries or moving house or changing your career. You can also find yourself changing your career in a 5.
Sorry to interrupt. You've told me in the past when I've been looking for houses, Tameera, that 9 is a good number, but it also signifies endings, and that frightened the shit out of me. So I have actively avoided houses that add up to number 9.
Yeah, well, the 9 is like, it really invites creative people in terms of the home energy, because, our homes also hold a vibration in terms of the numbers. But, so the 9 is sort of like the old soul energy, and it's like, it's the creative. So
and endings.
That's sort of like a bit of an insight in terms of your personal year vibrations. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's amazing. And do you know what I want to know is what is the Eavesdroppin's birth date? So when did we first broadcast or record? I don't know which one's going to be our, but then we could do Eavesdroppin's numerology personal year.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because businesses have their own like numerology from their name, and also have a birthday. Yeah, we'll have to
that would
do
be
that.
amazing. Look, I'm not good with numbers. I just thought in my head I was trying to figure out my birthday and what my number is, and then I realized I think I didn't understand how to get to your own personal number.
So say that you're born on the say you're born on the 5th of July. Okay, so we would take the number 5, okay, for the day, and then add the 7, right, for the July. So you add the 7 and the 5 together, which come to 12, which is number 3.
I did that.
And then we have a 6 collective year. So the 6 and the 3 together, that comes to a 9 vibration. So if you're born on the 5th of July, in 2022, you'll be going into a 9-year transformation. And in the start of 2022, you'll be in your 8th cycle, and you can really feel the difference in terms of the shift that occurs. And when you know the frequency of the energy that you're in, it's going to happen whether you know it or not, but you can actually work with the energy, and you can really make the most of the year.
Oh, that's incredible.
For example, when I was experiencing a big shift in my life, when I was about to go into my last 5 cycle, right? So this is like going back, a good 10 years ago. I was having lunch with one of my girlfriends, and I had $5 blow on my foot. Same thing happened with the same friend 2 weeks later. I was then taking my dog for a walk, my old dog. We basically just went a different route, and there was a pile of $5 notes in the ground.
My God.
Of literally like $100 of like $5.
What?
It was like, oh my God, this is like definitely, yeah. And I was going through a lot of changes, but the universe, it shows us through numbers, through frequencies, and if we're open to receiving the messages, then we can kind of take that on and realize, that we're having big shifts happen. And I went to this place called St. Stephen's Park in Newtown and Camperdown, and they were having a magic show being filmed, and they're like, hey, do you want to come? And I was, doing these card tricks and things that were it was, I remember the name of the show, but actually at the end there was 2 envelopes, and in one envelope there was a Tic Tac, but I picked the one with the other envelope, and it had $5 in it. So I literally was getting all of these 5s around me.
555.
Yeah, and that was right. I know, true story. And so that was basically just showing like, hey, you're going through this really big change. You're going into this 5 cycle, hang in there. And I did. I literally had so much happen in my life, but I also realized that I wasn't going crazy, that I was literally just been giving all of these signs and to trust. So that's important.
That's amazing, Tameera.
To trust.
So in your head, Geordie, did you work out what number you are?
No, I haven't done that yet, but I do know that number you've just said is actually my son's year, my eldest son's number 9. But what you said was that at the beginning of the year for him, he'll be still in the 8th year. And then on his birthday, halfway through the year, he will then switch to 9.
Yeah. So in the 8th year, if you aren't taking time out to have a bit of balance in your life, you can find yourself sometimes going through a bit of burnout. Okay. So it's important to, just to have the balance coming through, because that's what the 8 represents. But you can have more money coming through as well if you like putting in the work, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I hope that makes sense. So you just basically take the day that you're born and you add that to the month that you're born and then add that to the collective year.
Hang on.
So, again, for another example, if you're born on the 8th of the month, if you're born on the 8th day and you're born on the first month, so you're born on the 8th of January, you take the 8th plus the 1, that's a 9. And then add that to the 6, and again, that comes to a 9 frequency. I keep coming up with all of these 9s for examples, but
mine's 6. I've just done it, so it's always got to boil down to a single number.
I think I'm an 8.
Oh,
okay. All right. Well, that's exciting.
Is an 8 exciting? I don't know. You were like chasing the tail, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it depends on what side you're living in terms of the frequency. So it's like the balance side of the 8, you have more money coming through. You can have, basically more opportunities with your work and with your career. You can have inspired people coming into your life to help you to grow. Okay, so it's the year of karma. It's reaping what you've sown.
Oh, good luck with that, Michelle.
Thanks.
So if you're taking that time for yourself as well and you're working with your energy, then the sky's the limit.
I love that. Tameera, that sounds amazing.
Mine's 6.
So yeah, the 6 is where you can have, I guess you're not going to have another baby, are you, Geordie? But
God, no. That would be foolish, number 1, and impossible, number 2.
Your work, your whole career can go to a whole new level in the 6 vibration. So you're moving from the 5 frequency where there's a lot of change coming through. You're going in new directions. In the 6, it's like, you feel more of the love. You can have more love with the family, and you have more of that heart-centered connection with your work and with your career. And I wanted to share with you the power of 12, okay, in terms of numbers and frequencies, because in every culture there's and I hope this isn't jumping too much, but I just thought it would be good to share because this is leading on to something else, right, in terms of this whole frequency we're moving into right now. So the significance of number 12 is very sacred, and 13 is like the transcendence. So we had 12 disciples and Jesus as the 13th. I'm not religious, by the way. It's just sort of like I'm just talking about sort of like history. 12 Knights of the Round Table. We had, King Arthur as the 13th, 12 gods of the Olympus and fate symbolizing the 13. 12 tones in the Mayan calendar, and 13 is the overtone. 12 signs in the zodiac. We've got 12 months in the year, 12 tones in music, 12 months in the solar calendar, 13 lunar months. And, even in the AA program, there's 12 steps, right? So it's like this, there's a real significance there. And then we've got, 12 steps in the A, and then God is the 13. So when we look at the power of 12, right? So every 12 years, when the planet Jupiter, so Jupiter rules Sagittarius, which is expansion, it's travel, it's luck, it's opportunities. And we all have our own astrology charts, but we also have on a collective level, when these planets make a really big shift, we actually pick up the energy. So Jupiter, the planet of luck, is actually going into a big energy shift on December 29 in 2021. Okay, so if you're in America and listening to this, it'll be December 28 for you, and for Australia, and very early in the UK, December 29. And this is going to the 28th of October 2022. So basically, this is going into Pisces, okay? And what does Jupiter in Pisces mean? So this is basically enhancing our spirituality, our growth as a collective. We're going to experience an influx of Piscean themes during this time. And if we're looking back at the whole sort of like symbol of Christianity, right? You know, that fish symbol.
The fish.
Yeah.
So so the fish is actually, it's not about like Jesus giving fish to the people to eat. It's like the symbol of Pisces, right? And that was also when, you know, I guess if we're looking back at history, that was when Jesus was born, right, in the age of Pisces. And it was, you know, we've recently just moved into this age of Aquarius, but that age of Pisces was that one God. It was that, you know, illusions and all of this. But through going back to Jupiter right now in 2000 and at the December 29, 2021, and going through 2022, this is going to bring changes to travel, okay? And also it can bring through some escapist tendencies. It could be via, you know, streaming services, through social media. Also, there's going to be an increase in the intangible world in terms of our spirituality. And I was watching Drew Barrymore interviewing Oprah on her show, and Oprah was praising Drew for being the first one to actually create this 3D reality, okay, this technology where guests were in the same room. Sorry, they weren't in the same room, but it looked like they were sitting next to each other. It's this whole virtual reality. So I feel like in 2022 that there's going to be more of that happening with this whole virtual reality. So, yeah, Drew Barrymore, she's literally created this whole new virtual way of interviewing guests, right?
Amazing.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they were sitting next to her. And also, Tameera, just quickly, this episode comes out on the 29th of December, 2020 fucking one.
There are no coincidences. You know, it's synchronicity.
Even when you think about what's happening right now, virtually, we are able to have this conversation. It's amazing.
Yes.
It is amazing how it's all connecting and putting it all together.
Yeah. So I feel like that there is a huge frequency that's going to be happening next year in 2022 in conjunction with not only the numerology vibration, but our spirituality. It's going to give us a chance to look at the mysteries of the universe, explore more of the meaning of life, and also that sense of like being in the same room as someone, but, you know, they could be on the other side of the world. I feel like more of the whole three-dimensional reality is going to be coming into place. And in your own chart, okay, if you have Jupiter in your astrology chart, and you're going to love this, you're going to be having your Jupiter return, and that happens once every 12 years for one whole year. And when you know that your Jupiter return is happening, it's like prosperity. You have more opportunities coming through to actually take inspired action. If you've been thinking about doing something, then do it when your Jupiter is returning, because you've got a bit of that Midas touch. So I looked up the years, and if you are born in 1950, 1962, 1974, 1986, 1991, or 2010, you will be having your Jupiter return in conjunction as, you know, the whole collective will be feeling this energy from Jupiter.
Well, sadly, we miss out on that, Mish.
Yeah.
But two of my children will be enjoying that, so that's
What was
good.
the 1980s one? Did we miss it, Geordie?
1980.
Oh, yes, very good. We literally missed it.
Awkward.
Orcs!
So here's my other thing, right? Is Jesus going to rise from the dead? Because
What?
I know. So right. So this is where I'm coming from. So basically,
From the 12s?
no, not from the 12s.
This is from when you were talking about the 12s and you were...
Yeah, but where I'm looking at things now, okay. So we're looking at ages, right? In terms of, have you heard of astrology ages, right? Where we come from, we're going into the age of Aquarius, right?
Yeah.
Ages go backwards.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
You got it.
That one.
Yeah.
I thought that happened in the 60s, but...
So ages go backwards. So in astrology, we go like Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, right? Goes down the zodiac, but ages go backwards. So we are now in the age of Aquarius, right? Right at the beginning of it. We're literally making history. We're at the beginning of a 2,400-year-old age. And we've come from this age of Pisces. No one knows exactly the date, but it's like this blending in. And when you're thinking of like 2,400 years, that's a really big amount of time. And when we're looking back at when, I guess, Jesus was born, okay, I'm not going from a religious perspective here, but scholars say that he was born around 4 BC, okay, so give or take a few hundred years. So again, we're at the dawning of a new age, but I was having a bit of joke with Jesus sort of like rising, but when we're looking at before, like, so if we're going back before Jesus was born, that's in sort of the Stone Age, okay? So that was the age of Aries. It was war. It was when, you know, we had cavemen and cavewomen. It was that
paleo,
sort of,
paleo was a big thing,
And so we've just come from, you know, all of this religion and, spirituality. I'm not saying the spirituality isn't around now. However, we're going more into building more of a utopian society, okay? We're working more with technology, and if we're looking at, you know, what's going on in terms of a global perspective, okay, over the last couple of years, with us even being, I guess, on a more of a, I guess, a darker energy, with us being monitored and, you know, with technology, with apps of having to actually get into stores with technology and apps. This is very much, you know, that's a sort of that Aquarian energy, if that makes sense. It's, you know, the control of things, but on the other side, it's about freedom, okay? And it's about finding our freedom and working together to really be creating a better world. So
that is really interesting. That's a really interesting concept right now.
Yeah.
Because of what's going on globally, there is such a lot of control. There is such a lot of taking away of freedoms, you know, loss of body autonomy, loss of decisions that we are able to make for ourselves regarding our health and what we can and can't do, whether or not we're vaccinated, all of that. And some people, whether you hear about it or not, they are fighting against the fact that our freedoms are being curbed unless we fall in with what we're being told is the right thing to do. And I'm not saying I'm on either side of that fence, but I am saying it's causing such a lot of derision and divisiveness and separation of people, and they're at war almost with each other on a digital platform.
I've never seen such a divide. And Aquarius is a fixed energy, so meaning that it's like my way or the highway on some ways, okay, in terms of the whole energy, but it's also a frequency that has control, okay, likes to have control of things, and it's about freedom, it's about, you know, the technology. And
control and freedom feel to me like two separate things. I know they can exist together, but they feel like separate things.
The symbolism of Aquarius, it's a dichotomy, because it's an air sign holding a jug of water with 1 foot on the land and 1 foot in the water. So it's basically Aquarius as a whole likes to work with the energy of groups, with people, with freedom, but on the other side of things, it's needing to have that control of what is going on. This is how you should do things. This is my way. Okay. Does that make sense? This is my way. This is how you will find your freedom. This is what you must do. And there are people that are rebelling. Okay. And rebellion is another one of the major frequencies of Aquarius.
I have to say, you just summed up my last long-term relationship with an Aquarius guy. Where I was rebelling and he was my way or the highway. So
yeah,
it's incredible. Tameera, have you got any like fun facts for the year ahead? Like any fun, like I know in the past you have made some predictions about the royal family and they were very spookily accurate. You got any fun celeb facts for us for the next year?
I can share with you that as we are going into the beginning of 2022, we're going to be starting in something called a Venus retrograde, okay? And that will be with us until the end of the month. So if you're kind of going out and dating, or even wanting to have a bit of a transformation in terms of your hair or body, then if you can actually put that on hold until Venus goes direct, because Venus is about the way that you look, but also the love that you receive in your life. And when Venus is in retrograde, relationships started, not always, but quite often they can sort of like seem like it's all beautiful, but then it turns out to be a bit of a disaster. So just to have your not to have tunnel vision if you're dating someone new in a Venus retrograde.
Can you tell me, when is that starting? Because I have the hairdressers booked today.
So it's going to be starting from January. Yeah. So.
Oh, okay.
And it might just be it might be a couple of days before. I think maybe it's like right on the 31st or something like that. But it's, nothing too. Okay. If you're just having a bit of a trim.
I'll just get the trim, wash, cut, blow dry.
If you've got like massive long locks, right? You're like, I'm going to cut all of my hair off in a Venus retrograde. Don't do it. Just wait until afterwards, because.
Michelle, don't do the mullet. Not
yet. I was just thinking I've got to put that mullet on hold for a little bit. I'm not even joking. It's coming. January's the mullet time. Oh no, it's
watch this hair space.
But when does it end though, Tameera? When does the Venus retrograde?
It ends at the end of the month, okay? So around the 28th of January, and I do have all of that in my Moon Lovers retrograde guide.
So we'll know.
So you'll know, but yeah, that's it. It basically finishes around the 28th, because Venus goes retrograde once every 2.5 years. And that happens for around 3 to 4 weeks. Then in terms of January energy, Mercury, which is ruled by Gemini and rules our communication, goes retrograde 3 times a year for around 3 weeks, and it's the most, I guess, famous of all of the retrograding planets. And it's when people from your past can drop back in again that you haven't seen forever. When technology plays up, it's So
that happened to you, didn't it? You had like a thing. I remember we were conversing, and you had a problem with the N on your computer. And
oh my God, I did, and I didn't realize how much you actually need the N key. It's actually a really popular key.
You'd think it was T or A, wouldn't you? Tits and S.
Or G and T. But
yes.
So basically, from the 14th of January, just a heads up, until February 5, we have Mercury going retrograde in the actual sign of Aquarius. So don't be surprised if, you have an old lover from 20 years ago, or.
Ooh. Oh my God. Brace yourself,
but it can also
people.
be a really beautiful time to be recalibrating your life, to be going through stuff that you don't need anymore, and to be also reconnecting with old friends. Decluttering. We love that.
Yes, you can employ me as a declutterer if you live in the local area within the M25.
And if you wanted a little bit of just a little bit of an overview of what's happening as well, 1st of April until the 10th in 2022, I feel like something big is going to be happening around that time, because the planet Mars, Saturn and Venus, they're all going to be literally sitting on top of each other. So they're going to be forming a conjunction in Aquarius, okay? And the sun, which is how we're sort of shining, Chiron is the key to healing, and Mercury is how we're communicating in Aries, right? So this is all happening around the first half of April in 2022. Just a note for the diary. And I feel like there might even be a bit of a universal upheaval. Maybe there's going to be some kind of something happening on a collective level that will impact us.
So you think it's negative rather than positive?
There could be something positive happening as well that happens and, impacts all of us. But, there could be a universal upheaval. There could be an impact of events in a certain country that impacts all of us, or there could be
Shit.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be looked at in a negative way either. But with all of this, I just was kind of looking at some major transits coming up, and that was one that jumped out at me. So
wow.
I guess in terms of a prediction for 2022, we'll see, what's coming up there.
Okay.
But that's a bit of an
Well, hopefully
overview.
we get to revisit this in a year's time, and we can have a look at what you've predicted, and hopefully it won't be too nasty.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Extra, read all about it.
Give me the scoop.
Eavesdropping Wednesday, there's no doubt about it.
Eavesdroppin. Well, it all sounds exciting. I mean, 2022, if you had to sort of sum it up, would you say overall it's going to be a positive year, or we have a lot of growth and stuff to get through? Yeah, recovery, because it hasn't been great the last 2 years, let's admit.
Yeah, but we've gone through a journey, and I feel like we've learnt more about ourselves. I have not experienced so many of my clients who have wanted to change their careers, who have wanted to literally like move across the country, who have wanted to move back to where where they were born there, so a lot of people are actually embracing this in such a impactful way in their lives. Okay, so it's not all negative, but 2022, I like to call that the love year. Okay, so I feel like there is going to be a more heart experiences coming through for our work, for our, for where we're headed in life with our relationships, and yeah.
Oh, it sounds nice then. That's something to look forward to. Bit of love. Might be a bit awkward when all those ex-boyfriends come back into the picture though, girls.
Do you know what? That keeps happening anyway. Don't you get the...
What?
Haven't you in the last couple of years just had randoms get back in touch out of the blue?
No, because I've stayed friends with the majority of my exes, so they are just there.
No, but not even exes, just people from your past who maybe had a flirtation with back in high school.
No, I haven't.
Really? No, that's been happening to me.
They're all going to come knocking on your door next year, Michelle.
Well, I'm easy to find.
Michelle, barricade that. You better lock the door.
We don't lock the door.
She leaves it swinging open in the summer months. Come on in.
Oh, dear. No, I just think also it's that time of life where people just tend to be looking back. And I think especially during the last couple of years where people have had time on their hands, and they've also been thinking about their life, what used to be important to them, what's important to them now. Maybe wanting to make new connections. So maybe we're going to see, well, like you said, Tameera, we're going to see more of that coming up in 2022 where people are looking more within.
More partnerships, I feel, yeah. And that's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes those people are in your past for a reason, but...
Oh.
I'm just talking, I mean, who knows? But also, I had a friend, and this was 10 years ago now, who I'd lost contact with, who got back in touch, and now we're great friends again. It's lovely. So, yeah, sometimes you need to reconnect with the past to, I don't know, kind of they come into your life for a reason. I kind of believe that. I don't know. What do you think?
Reason, season, lifetime.
Well, we've talked about that. Yeah.
You said that, yeah.
But I believe reason, season, lifetime. I do. I think people come into your life for a reason, and they might only be there for a short amount of time or a season. So it might just be when, in a period where you really needed those people, but then after... They're out. That's the season. And then the lifetime friends who are with you for bitch, you're ditched. But then you have your lifetime friends, and they're the ones who are always with you. You don't see them for ages, and when you do, you just pick up where you left off, and that's
right.
Really special
pick up
thing.
Those panties.
Oh, Georgie.
Love it.
So then, T, what have you got anything more for us?
Well, that was kind of my summary for 2022, just to not overwhelm you too much in terms of being able to kind of like take it all in. But yeah, I feel like there's going to be more opportunities for collaborations coming through children born next year. So if you're a mama and you're going to be giving birth, I feel like the children coming through are going to be more on like an intuitive level, more on that sort of like high frequency. And yeah, and I feel like there is going to be more heart expansion. So there's been a lot of upheaval that's been going through, particularly 2021. There's been that unexpected change coming through. There's been a bit of the chaos as well. It's like I don't know what's going on. And yeah, so I feel that the energy is shifting, and we have to remember that we are also at the beginning of this, 2,400-year-old age, and there is always something really quite profound that happens at the beginning of an age, of that dawning of the age. And I don't mean to sound, too out there, but there is, and I feel like because we are also embracing a lot of this in Aquarian energy, then it might be that the way forward is the whole, the 5D, where we are actually working with technology, and I'm able to actually be like brought into your lounge room by memes and not just
like they see on Star Trek.
Like they see on Star Trek. So I feel like there's going to be new developments in terms of the technology in 2022 as well.
Is that what you mean by 5D?
5D, yeah.
Like fifth dimension?
Yes, bringing in that sort of like, when you're in that dream state, and it's like bringing it in. So we live on that 3D dimension. Sorry, we're in 3D right now, right?
Yeah.
But what's called is like that 5D frequency. So it's just going on a whole other dimension, and I feel like there's going to be on a whole other level of bringing through ways that we have not really thought about living and working before. And a lot more people will also be having the opportunity to be working from where they want to be, okay, and using that technology as well.
Incredible.
Interesting. Wow, thank you, Tameera. That's
You're
so
welcome.
cool.
And obviously, I'm going to put some links in the show notes to all of these amazing predictions, and you can find out all about Tameera. Like I said, I'll put it all in the show notes. So have a look, people.
Well, you've got a website, tameera.com.
Yes.
That's where you can go and find out and sign up to your newsletter, which is always exciting. I love my monthly. Is it monthly it comes out, the newsletter?
Monthly, sometimes bi-monthly, but it's always something inspiring going through.
Yes. And you can buy what Michelle and I have, the Moon Lover's Guide, and have that synced to your calendar so you can see when it's a 5/8 day and you shouldn't take the car out because you might have a bump.
In case you're wondering what the 5/8 day is, so in terms of our calendar, we have, that's one day that kind of like jumps out, right? So the 5/8 day, the 5 brings freedom, and the 8 day can, it brings balance, but brought together they can bring through chaos. And for a couple of examples, your perception can be skewed. So the late Anthony Bourdain, he took his life on a 5/8 numerology day. I know if you remember back on the Thai soccer team that they got stuck in that cave. Yeah.
Oh God.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that when they got stuck, and it was like this whole, the whole world was just watching and
with bated breath. Yeah, they managed to come out, didn't they? Did anyone die?
No one. No, I think one of the divers died, didn't they?
One of the divers, yeah, because it was they had to go underwater in order to go and find them and pull them out in this tiny, tiny space.
And I was like, I bet you they went in on a 5/8 numerology day, and they did.
They did. Oh,
they did.
No canoe trips, people.
So don't take
on a 5/8
unexpected risks on a 5/8 numerology day.
Unexpected risks. There you go. Don't take any risks. They could end up going badly wrong. And now, what were your fun facts, Tameera? Did you have any for us? Like anything for us to look out for in the coming year regarding famous people? Like any gossip?
I have to look into I have to look at the actual energy of people for celebrities. So we could do.
So you have to look specifically.
Yeah. So I can send you through some insights for famous people. I love looking at couples and.
Ben Mendelsohn.
I can.
What's happening with him? What is happening with Ben Mendelsohn? We haven't mentioned him for so long, Michelle. It's almost like we've ditched him. Poor Ben.
I do feel sorry for Ben, but perhaps he just hasn't been doing anything. He's back to being off the radar. What can I say?
He's slipped back into the shadows.
You might find Ben just gives you a call in a Mercury retrograde in 2022.
I'm here, Ben.
Bring it, Ben.
I'm here. We're waiting. We're ready to pick up. Take your call.
We'll play your jingle.
Do you have anything else you want to ask me?
No, because I was thinking about that before, but I feel like you've covered everything because in summary, I guess, 2022, it's going to be, there's a lot to look out for. I think it's going to be ups and downs from what you've said. We're going to have this overall heart year, but there are some retrogrades coming. There's a lot of mixed energy in a way.
And there's always retrogrades every year. But the two, when we're looking at on the positive side of things, it's about how am I working with my heart energy, how am I sort of working co-creatively, not being sort of like codependent, and vibrating to that kind of like that sixth universal energy, it's heart expansion. So hoping that there's going to be less of that divide and more of an acceptance coming through as well in terms of our own beliefs and what we feel is like, you know, true for us, and not sort of like projecting our own fears onto others, because that's just coming from a lower sort of vibration. And when we're in our heart space, which is like, it's such a high frequency, 2022 as a whole, I feel like there is going to be something magical coming through by the end of the year for all of us.
Wow, that sounds exciting.
But is there any top tips you can give for how people can get into their heart space and really make the most of the energy that's coming through?
So to be grounding yourself, which is literally just getting out into nature, to be doing some meditation each day, which is like super important, to be getting out of your head, okay? And to be less in reactive mode. So to be more about, you know, if you're feeling defensive about something, to think about, how am I projecting my own views onto this, to think about, you know, just to take some time out, count till the next day and until,
that's
you know,
some really good
and I feel
advice.
like more of that's going to be coming through for us to actually be making the inspired changes in our life. And there might be, you know, more spirituality that's also coming through for us to be learning about our purpose and, you know, who we came here to be, more intuition. And, and I feel like that's important, because knowing that we are like these spiritual beings having this physical experience here. There was this guy that I was watching. He's got something called Spirit Box. That's what I was going to share with you. Have you heard of the Spirit Box?
No, but I'm going to check it out.
Yeah. So he's got this. I have to try and remember his name, but he's created this machine that literally has the spirit go through, and it sounds like it's a little bit difficult to. It comes out a bit garbled, if that makes sense, in terms of the voice, but you can actually hear, you can hear the messages. So he interviews like Freddie Mercury and he's interviewed like Michael Jackson. I think he's even interviewed like Jesus. Like,
What, since they've died?
Well, he's interviewing dead people. It's spirits, Geordie.
He's interviewing dead people, and
God.
it's called the Spirit Box. And
How did we not know about this before?
How do we not know?
yeah.
Oh
So it's like
my
this thing, and so
God.
he goes and he's like a medium, right? But then he has the spirit go through this thing, which is like a spirit box, and it's like a radio receiver. So he's actually connecting with the dead, but they're actually he spoke to Kurt Cobain as well, and he's got a whole lot of like YouTubes and things out, but it's so interesting, and Kurt Cobain, and you can hear the voice, but it's not like, you know, Kurt Cobain's voice, but you can hear the message that he's sending through, and he's like, you know, don't be sad. He's like, you know, people see him as someone who just shot himself in the head, and he's just saying, I don't want people to be sad. It's like these messages coming through this spirit box. So we might be experiencing more of this kind of frequency where we're able to connect with the other side and hear the messages coming through.
Wow. I did have some questions for you, Tameera, very quickly
Okay.
before we finish up. 2 questions. One is, if people are thinking, 'cause, you know, a lot of people have been moving house because of the pandemic and being
Yeah.
able to work from home. Should they be moving? No, that's my first question. And my second question is, what does the future hold, the next year hold for our podcast? Because Michelle and I have a few ideas of where we'd like to take it, but we'd like to know what you think regarding the year to come, what steps we should take to propel.
If you look at the 6, when you look at the 6 vibration as a collective, so the 6 is like in numerology, it's the matriarch or the patriarch of the home. All right. So it's a time when you can find yourself renovating, when you can be feeling like, oh, I haven't been looking after myself. I want to like be doing things to be feeling more beautiful, to find that more of that love within myself. But in terms of moving home, that's been coming through, with a lot of my clients, unprecedented through 2021, right through that 5 universal year, which has brought through massive change. And it's like almost from going within, we're deciding, okay, this is what the lifestyle that I want, this is what I don't want. And it's moving us more into that heart space. So 2022, it is going to bring through, I feel like on relationships, if something isn't working in your life, then you're going to be more within the energy to lovingly release it, okay? which is a good thing, but also for relationships. And there can also be that opportunity to be expanding more on that conscious level where you're not falling in love, but you're rising in love. So that's a really beautiful way to look at it. And nice. But I feel as a whole, then it's going to be a really beautiful energy to be recreating that sanctuary within your home. And in terms of eavesdropping, because the 2, okay, so looking at all of 2 energy, which is about collaborations, working together, partnerships, and the 6 vibration. So if you look at the number 6, the 6 is literally like pregnant, right? It's pregnant with love. Okay, so the 2 combined together. If you are on your purpose and you are, I guess, like, that it sounds a bit cliched, but if you are doing what you love and following your life purpose and your calling, then embracing that energy of the 6 collective is going to take you to new heights. So it's a really, really, really powerful year, particularly if you are in a relationship that is collaborative.
Wicked. Oh, that's good news, Tameera. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing all your brilliant insights, which was through numerology and astrology, wasn't it? Yes. But you also do other things. Like you also do feng shui. Is that how you say it?
Feng shui. Yeah, which is just about, it's all about energy. We're frequency. When we understand the frequency and the energy,
popping that toilet seat down instead of up, where it sucks all the energy out.
That's the chi force.
I knew that.
I didn't know that.
Yes, Michelle, pop the top down. Pop it down.
Yeah, because that's the life force energy.
So, toilet seat down, and then lid on.
Yeah. Lid on.
Down.
Yes.
Everything down. Down.
Yeah, because otherwise all the good energy goes down the loo.
Right.
Didn't you know that?
No.
Particularly if it's in your wealth or your relationship area in your home.
You need to find out where those places are.
Well, I'm with a Swede who always pops the lid down. So I get in trouble because sometimes I leave it up. I'm the seat lever-upperer. So
dirty.
No, but it's always down, always down. So do you know what? That's a takeaway tip from today, right?
Yes. If you've learnt nothing else, guys, just remember, always leave the toilet seat and the lid down for many reasons.
But that's not the only thing. What an incredible, incredible amount of positive energy, lots of information to think about. I mean, my head's scrambled.
Lots of maths, but a lot of great messages, Tameera.
So much. And I just want to share as well for any mamas who are giving birth next year in 2022, because the 2 is also very much connected to the woman and to the feminine. Like I feel like it's very important to have the balance between the male and the female, but there is going to be, I feel like, more of an opportunity for women to be coming into the balance in 2022. Maybe we're going to see another, maybe there'll be a female president somewhere, or
revolution. I think the rise of the woman,
a revolution, a rise of the divine feminine,
the worm that turned. Brilliant. Thanks, Tameera. Oh, that's amazing. And that just leaves us now to the end of the show, which is the time where we say that we hope that you've enjoyed listening to Tameera. We have. It's been incredible. And if you want to find out more, then Tameera.com.
Love you, girls.
We love you, Tameera.
We love you, Tameera.
And we're going to ask Tameera to include Tameera in our outro now when we say, listen, guys, in the coming year and every day, no matter where you are,
no matter what you do,
just keep
eavesdropping. 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 Eavesdropping.